We are just 3 days away from the potentially critical summit between US President Donald Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin in Alaska. President Trump says he wants to see what Putin has in mind for Ukraine, but he's already casting doubt on what, if anything, this meeting could accomplish, saying, quote, "It's not up to me to make a deal." Trump also claims he'll know in the first 2 minutes if a deal can be made. This is what he says that deal could include.
There'll be some swapping, there'll be some changes in land, and the word that they will use is, they make changes. We're going to change the lines, the battle lines. Russia's occupied a big portion of Ukraine. They've occupied some very prime territory. We're going to try and get some of that territory back for Ukraine.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says he will host a virtual meeting with European leaders on Wednesday to discuss options to put pressure on Russia to end the war. Donald Trump is expected to attend that meeting, so is Ukraine's president, who's still not invited to the talks in Alaska. Volodymyr Zelensky is warning the US that Putin has no plans for peace.
He is definitely not preparing for a ceasefire or an end to the war. Putin is determined only to present a meeting with America as his personal victory, and then continue acting exactly as before.
Donald Trump's casual comments about possible land swaps are striking fear in those living in eastern Ukraine, with the prospect of their cities and towns being traded away to the man who started this war in the first place. CNN's Nick Paton-Walsh speaks to some of the Ukrainians who could lose everything after already losing so much.
When President Trump talks about what parts of Ukraine to, quote, swap with Russia, this is ground zero. Real towns where bomb shelters loom over beaches.
I feel like I just float away from this reality.
Here in Donetsk region, diplomacy has turned dark and surreal and threatens local journalist Mikhailo's medicinal swim. What do you think about the idea of Trump and Putin meeting so far away in Alaska and deciding the fate of a place like this?
We all, people I know, will have to leave. But frankly speaking, I don't think it's gonna happen. What Trump did wrong, he just pulled him out of the bog. The Putin was just drowning in the bog. And he took him out and said, "Vladimir, I want to talk to you, I like you." He didn't care that every day Ukrainians die.
Beaches, births and deaths, they all persist in ravaged Slavyansk. They've dug defences around it to stop a Russian military advance, but never imagined high-level diplomacy might just give their town and future away. Taisia gave birth to Azul yesterday, the calm of her maternity ward bed now riddled with complications she never saw coming.
Дуже погано. Я бачила новини ці. На що ми можемо повпливати? Це вже буде рішення не за нами конкретно. Люди просто віддадуть свої будинки.
Staying here has been, for many, an act of defiance and bravery. But for Sviatoslav and Natalia, it did not spare them pain. This is their daughter, Sofia, with her husband, Mikita, and the grandson, Lev. They moved to Kiev for safety. But 11 days ago, a horrific dawn Russian airstrike killed them and 28 others in Kiev. Their 3 bodies found together in the rubble.
Уехала она от войны уехала туда, было на данный момент там тихо, а потом такое, вот видите, как бы семья здесь, в Славянске, и война настигла их там. Так.
Да, справиться с этим, знаете, по-человечески это невозможно. Невозможно справиться с потерей детей.
They had been due to visit days later, bringing news that Sofia was 3 months pregnant.
Do you remember the last time you spoke?
Да, это было в 8:30 вечера. Она шла со Львом, она так готовилась в Славянск. Она говорит: "Мамочка, я так хочу в Славянск". И поделиться этой радостью, этой новостью с другими. И, не приехали. Приехали по-другому все вместе.
They came together to be buried on the town's outskirts, where the war permits no calm for grief. A Ukrainian jet roars overhead. At the nearest train station, Kramatorsk, as many are coming as are going. Serhiy was allowed 2 days off from his tank unit to see Tatiana, his wife. Sirens greet the Kiev train.
А як четвертий год на війні, то як ви думаєте, тяжко. Це краще б не приїжджало. Все, заспокойся.
Просто, щоб чоловік повернувся додому. Мені пофіг на тій території, аби він був живий і повернувся додому.
Soldiers worried if they'll see their loved ones again. Families torn apart by this war. Imagine scenes like this to the thousand in the event of what seems to so many people here to be the surreal idea that a deal on Friday on the other side of the earth, almost as far away as you could possibly imagine in Alaska, between an American president and a Russian president without a Ukrainian there, could potentially give this bustling town over to the Russians after them fighting for it for so many years and failing to take it. So many lives lost here, and those traumas borne out on this platform every time a train comes in.
Nick Payton-Walsh, CNN, Kramatorsk, Ukraine.